Welcome UUM computing students. When you build a piece of software, you write source code to determine exactly how the system behaves. An organization operates the same way. It requires a purposefully built framework to manage how it interacts with the public online. This split-screen diagram illustrates that relationship. On the left, we have corporate identity. This is the internal source code, the exact values, culture, and goals the organization projects into the world. On the right is reputation. This is the stakeholder output, representing how the public actually interprets and experiences those inputs. Look closely at the identity node on the left as it expands. This input system is built from 5 specific variables: the organization's vision for the future, its operational mission, its guiding values, its internal culture, and its visual identity. Apple structures its internal identity around simplicity and premium quality. That core value is projected through their clean, minimalist visual branding and presentation style, which then translates into a reputation for high-end innovation among consumers. Tesla runs a different framework. Their communications prioritize technological advancement and sustainability. Every outward signal, from their logo to their physical vehicle design, reinforces those specific operational priorities. Before writing a single line of copy for a social media post, the organization has to define these internal variables. The external digital strategy can only function properly if the internal source code is strictly defined. Once the identity is built, the organization has to deploy it. The goal here is to establish brand recognition, which is the measurable extent to which stakeholders can quickly identify and recall the organization in a crowded digital feed. Establishing recall requires strict visual consistency. Whether it's a specific color palette, messaging style, or a logo like the Air Jordan emblem, repeating these elements across all platforms trains the audience's pattern recognition. Organizations prove their values through concrete outputs called identity activities. This includes publishing educational content, answering customer comments to build community, or launching corporate social responsibility campaigns to show environmental commitment. This dashboard shows how we track the success of those activities using social media analytics. By monitoring brand awareness, audience reach, and engagement levels, we can evaluate whether the public is actually responding to the messaging. Notice the immediate jump in the engagement level graph here. When an organization interacts directly with its stakeholders, it converts abstract brand value into raw algorithmic visibility. High visibility online is a calculated output. A recognizable brand is the result of consistently feeding targeted, strategic activities into the social media environment. But digital systems encounter errors. Negative events like sudden data breaches, public controversies, or a wave of customer service failures create massive friction. Ignoring these events compounds the damage. Unresolved public complaints rapidly erode stakeholder trust, driving away customers and creating measurable financial deficits for the organization. So when an error occurs, how do you debug it? Think about the logical order of operations. What is the very first step an organization must take before releasing a public statement? Here is the 5-step reputation restoration algorithm. The organization must first identify the exact problem, assess its severity, communicate transparently with the public, implement corrective actions, and finally, rebuild trust over time. When Samsung faced widespread safety issues with the Galaxy Note 7, they executed these steps directly. They identified the hardware flaw and implemented corrective actions, including a massive physical recall to protect consumers and mitigate long-term damage. Similarly, following severe data privacy controversies, Meta had to execute the communication stage. Openly addressing regulators and releasing transparency initiatives was required to stabilize the negative public reaction. This line graph demonstrates the final step, rebuilding trust using sentiment analysis. By applying natural language processing to millions of online comments, organizations can mathematically verify if their recovery efforts are working by tracking the shift from negative reactions back to positive engagement. Corporate identity provides your baseline. Identity activities generate your recognition. And when crises hit, analytics and structured restoration loops protect the system. Thank you for joining this session for the School of Computing at University Utara, Malaysia.